Welcome to Let's Talk Money, Honey, the podcast where we break down the barriers to financial success.
I'm Elise Levy here with Holly Henry, and we're your hosts, two financial advisors on a mission to demystify investing, unravel the complexities of money, and sprinkle a little wisdom into your life.
Whether you're a seasoned investor or just dipping your toes into the world of finance, join us once a month as we discuss how to navigate life's financial twists and turns. Just remember, building wealth and living your best life should be empowering, not intimidating.
So listen up and let's talk money, honey. Welcome to Let's Talk Money, Honey. This is our career series where we're focusing on specific careers and industries and doing financial advice tailored to that career or industry. So today we're talking about teachers. I personally come from a family of teachers. My mom and my sister and my aunt at one time have all been teachers. So they definitely need good financial planning. So Holly, what is the first thing that we're going to talk about?
Okay, so we're just going to briefly go over retirement for just a second for teachers. And just as a reminder, I'm talking about Arkansas retirement. We've got Nevada retirement on here. And then we know that there are viewers from all over the United States that is watching this. So just remember that most retirement systems for teachers, it's state by state. So it does change. The name changes, and it also depends on what type of school you're in, public, private, university. There's a lot of systems within this. And so we're just going to do a very brief overview. And I feel like the best thing that we can say about retirement for teachers is if you've got questions, remember that we offer like a free hour consultation. Like, call us up and ask the questions, especially if it's even regarding the pension plans and you just don't know which one may be the best fit for you. Even if you can't move the money for us, we're here to help. And I will say what has led us in the direction of talking about teachers is most of them have pension plans. So it's very kind of a budget minded when you're talking retirement. There are
For the audience that maybe doesn't know, what is a pension?
mm-hmm.
How
Yes.
did you define it?
So you are going to receive like almost a set amount. It may go up a little bit every month. So you get to go in and you can do life only with, and we're not going to go too in the weeds in that. But there are options on the pension plan. But for the most part, it's not going to, you may have a cost of living increase a little bit, but it stays pretty much the same every month. There are some retirement systems to where you can put in extra money. In Arkansas, depending on how many years you have in, you can have what's called T-dropping, and some of that can be invested differently upon retirement. And again, we're not going to go into the weeds. We just kind of want to remind you when we're talking retirement, come to us and talk to us if you're not familiar with what your options are.
Yeah, absolutely. And that pension is what gets paid in retirement. And like we said, usually there's a second option as well that kind of functions more similar to a traditional 401k where you can put in your own contributions from your payroll. But like Holly said, depending on whether you're public, private, where you live, it's all different. So it's always good to talk to a financial advisor and really understand your unique system. So second thing is, and we say this for everyone, so we will say it for teachers as well. Try so hard not to carry credit card debt because we know teachers are on a limited salary at times. So you really want to make sure you're not dipping into that credit card to cover your costs. As we know, it has a really high interest rate and it just eats away at itself. So avoiding that is super critical.
Mm-hmm. And the next tip that we have for teachers is in some states you can save on insurance. There's home ownership programs that is great for teachers. Definitely know what these programs are. I'm sure there's probably someone at your school that can tell you and definitely find out the best ways to save. I mean, especially with insurance. I mean, it gets so expensive so fast. So take advantage of those.
Yeah, totally. And there's also really random things that have discounts for teachers. I know phone companies offer it, computer subscriptions, certain things offer that teacher discount. So take advantage of it. And usually it's pretty easy to sign up. You just need proof that you are a teacher and get that extra money savings. And the next thing is loans. So obviously, to be a teacher, you are going to probably have gone to college and maybe even have student debt. And that is something that you'll want to focus on as you know you have your retirement kind of pre-planned and working for you as you're doing your job. So focusing on those loans and paying them off is really critical.
Mhm.
Holly,
Um,
anything to add?
and not necessarily with the loans, but again, like we understand, and I always say, and this is a reflection of Arkansas. This is probably not state for state. Um, Teachers don't get paid enough for what they deal with, and so we know that salaries are restricted. Now, the retirement system is great. Basically, I always tell people, like, you're working for the retirement because you're not making enough for what it's worth. I can barely deal with my own 2 kids versus some of you having several. I don't see how you do it. I truly do think that it's a calling. And what I want everybody to know is that with the pension, you're still on somewhat of a budget, even during retirement. And so, as long as you're okay with it, that's fine. But if you're not, then we need to start looking at other options too and start putting money back. Again, financial planning for teachers, for anyone, but especially teachers, is key too, just to make sure that there's no gaps. And what we keep reiterating is to ensure that there's no gaps. Credit cards are paid off, loans are paid off. There's more accessible money during retirement.
Yeah, absolutely. Like getting your house paid off before you retire would be such an amazing bonus. And exactly what Holly said, it's like we know that you don't make a lot of money, so it is so critical that we are budgeting every single dollar out and making it work as strategically as we can for you. So moving on, and discussing budget, have a budget. I know it's a pain in the butt. Holly and I talk about it all the time. We both hate budgeting, but it's such a good habit. So even if you have a yearly budget, knowing those expenses, those fixed expenses, what you kind of have variable expenses and planning for that. And I think that kind of goes into too, also having a good emergency fund.
Mhm.
So if you are single, that emergency fund should be 6 months of your fixed and variable expenses. If you're a married couple making about the same amount of money, that number's 3 months of fixed and variable expenses. So that's just another really great tool. And it helps because you don't always have to turn straight to the credit card, or you can and pay it off right away. So you're
Mhm.
not incurring that interest debt.
Another tip that we have for teachers is know what you can count on your taxes. Um, I feel like we're getting really restricted on what we can count off, so take advantage of that. And I know a lot of my teacher friends, they buy a lot for their classroom, especially in public schools. The supplies just aren't provided the way I wish that they would be. And so teachers are dipping into their own pockets. So keep receipts, keep proof of that. I find it very important for people to be working with accountants or good qualified, even just basic bookkeepers that can help you with this, because in the end, it may end up saving you quite a bit of money.
I was just going to say that, I'm all for people who want to do taxes themselves, but generally, I find the people who do taxes themselves speed through it and just want to get it done. And it's just not as thorough as working with a professional. And like the professional is going to go through and get you every single deduction they can and really work it. And so I think it's a value added 100%.
Mhm. Yeah, especially if you don't feel like the pension plan is going to be enough. If you're working with an accountant, and an accountant may say, if you owe this much in taxes, put it in an IRA. I mean, again, we always say, I'd rather you put it in an IRA than send it off to Uncle Sam. And again, and they may be telling you, go back and look for receipts for anything that you're paying for the classroom. Because again, and I'm kind of talking about this area, but by the end of the school year, the supplies just aren't there. It's just not. Um, and I think the last thing that we were going to want to discuss with them is take on a side hustle during the time that you're not working. If you don't have a full year contract, I feel like though, summer's not as long as what it used to be. So I know the
I do
window
think
of
it's getting shorter
opportunity.
and shorter.
Yes, yes. Maybe that's because I have kids. I feel like it's shorter and shorter. But I know so many creative teachers, and some of them do have side hustles, especially like the crickets and
Oh
everything
my
else.
gosh, yeah. No,
So creative.
and I think too, it doesn't have to just be like tutoring or something similar to what you do. I know
Mhm.
plenty of teachers who are dog walkers during the summer, house sitters, all kinds of kind of random things that don't relate to teaching at all, but really help with those extra things. And like fun money.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think that we can't say enough how much we appreciate teachers, and I wish that they could get paid exactly what they deserve. And unfortunately, that's just not the situation that we're in the majority of the time. So these side hustles are important.
100%. And like we said, we offer complimentary sessions. So if you are feeling overwhelmed with your unique situation, reach out to one of us. We're happy to walk through it. And even if it's just peace of mind that everything is working how it's supposed to, it's always good to get those words of affirmation. So thanks for listening. Tune in to other episodes we have on YouTube. And remember, we have a newsletter you can subscribe to at any time as well. Thanks so much.